As always, projected standings are based upon FiveThirtyEight's CARM-Elo rankings. This version of the mock uses projections as a Feb. 10, with the 4 worst teams in the league jockeying for position to get the best lottery odds, clearly separated from the rest of the NBA and with no improvement in sight. Zion Williamson continues to set college basketball on fire, but some interesting players at the back of the draft are becoming more interesting as we see more of them. Onward, as seen in the steady playing time for DJ Wilson and Sterling Brown this year, the Bucks aren't afraid to play young. They will need to do it even more as their roster gets more expensive. 4 of their starters are free agents this summer, and Paschall's age and versatility make him a smooth fit on a contending roster. Golden State has had no reason to invest in or develop young wings over the past several years, as evidenced by losing Patrick McCaw in restricted free agency hardball, limiting their depth and shortening their options should Kevin Durant leave. Schofield would bring a big body capable of spacing the floor and playing aggressive defense. This pick comes to San Antonio by way of the Kawhi Leonard trade. Drafting Gafford would give them an athletic, defensive rim reaper to pair with the Spurs' versatile guard rotation, breaking out this year in a big way. Maybe Dosunmu's the long, crafty, athletic guard Philadelphia believed it was getting in the Markelle Fultz draft. Brooklyn gets this pick after taking on Kenneth Faried's salary to get Denver under the luxury tax. Servitas would give them yet another mobile shooter and role player. Jones fits nicely what Oklahoma City built around Russell Westbrook since Durant left, long, physical and smart, and fills a hole the Thunder have slid Raymond Felton into for too long. Check out our full scouting report on Tre Jones. White is 100% a better prospect than a mid-20s placement would suggest, but this is where he's been landing in most places. He is running the country's best defense and has the size and shooting ability requisite for NBA guards today. The Celtics, drafting for themselves or the Pelicans, get a winner. Check out our full scouting report on Kobe White. Cleveland won this pick by taking on Brandon Knight and Marquise Chriss at the deadline. Fernando brings the upside to potentially one day become a 3-and-D center, the rarest form of NBA big man. Indiana may have to bid farewell to Bojan Bogdanovic, Tyreek Evans and Thaddeus Young today depending on what else they do, meaning their veteran forward depth will disappear. Williams, a savvy two-way junior, would help shore up the position. Jazz's reported interest in Mike Conley at the deadline signals they are not finished at point guard despite Ricky Rubio's solid play for them the past 2 seasons. Dort would join Exuma's bigger, defense-first options at that spot for Utah, willing it into being. Tilly would be the longer, more mobile version of Myers Leonard that Portland thought it was signing in 2016. It's just not right for the Spurs not to have a player like Kyle Anderson around. In Horton Tucker, San Antonio would find the heir to that throne, someone who is smart, versatile and can knock down shots. We're still not convinced the Clippers actually make the playoffs with this misfit toy roster, but Boston grabbing Clark would be the ultimate cherry on top of their Godfather offer for Anthony Davis this summer. Much is being made of Zion having an all-time season, and rightfully so, but the second highest BPM since sports refs started tracking the stat for colleges from this season also. Brandon Clark has been absolutely dominant. Mike Gribanoff at MikeGrib8, February 10, 2019. Porter is recovering from MCL and ACL tears he suffered during an October scrimmage, but would provide excellent balance for Brooklyn's front court alongside Jared Allen. The Nets will also have the patience to rehab his injury and develop the all-around offensive skill set and IQ that make Porter so special. Check out our full scouting report on Jonte Porter. Akpale, Malik Monk and Miles Bridges is the kind of core Charlotte should have been building around Kemba Walker all along. Should the Hornets get another commitment from Walker this summer, they can reset with the confidence of keeping the All-Star around for the next several seasons and build a sustainable winner he will lead. It will be fascinating to see how Detroit under Ed Stefanski, Sachin Gupta, Brent Barry and Dwayne Casey operate this offseason. It is the franchise's first opportunity since moving on from Stan Van Gundy to truly move forward building around Blake Griffin in the draft and free agency. The courage to take on rehabilitation and development of the immensely talented bull would be a risk with potentially high reward. Next, 14. Lottery. Teams without their own pick are sliding. Page 2. Simply put, Alexander Walker has developed into one of the absolute best shooters in all of college basketball. He is taking nearly 6 threes per 40 minutes for the Hokies, who put together the 8th best offense in the country this year, and nailing them at a 41.3% clip. Considering the level of difficulty Alexander Walker's shots have taken this year with the ball is in hands more often, it's safe to put him in that elite company across the nation. When you factor in his size and length, the intrigue of Alexander Walker as a prospect comes into full view. The native Torontoan is a picture-perfect modern NBA guard much like his cousin, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who has already shown as rookie the value his size and skill have on defense. But it all comes back to shooting. Alexander Walker has made 48.4% of his threes from NBA distance this year per the Stepion's shot charts, and synergy has him contributing 1.16 points per possession on all jump shots, an elite mark. In addition to the growth in the versatility and efficiency of his jump shot, Alexander Walker has developed as a playmaker this year. Sharing the court with a solid point guard in Justin Robinson surely helps the sophomore, but Alexander Walker himself has nearly doubled his assists per 40 minutes without much of a leap in his turnovers. This responsibility has accumulated in a 26.7% usage rate for Alexander Walker to go with a 62.4 true shooting percentage, making him one of the most efficient combo guards in the nation. You'd be correct to think how perfectly a player like Alexander Walker might fit with LeBron James, someone who can attack closeouts, nail open shots and create transition opportunities. Even if the Lakers trade all their picks going forward, they might as well use them on guys who fit with James while they're in Los Angeles. Next, 13. Boston Celtics via Sacramento Kings. Page 3. Use your arrows to browse the doubters who said Porter should stay on the bench for the remainder of his freshman season in Los Angeles certainly had a point. After returning from a quad injury and his scuffle with Trojans management, Porter has been bad. The freshman, who stood out as a potential top 5 selection during the first month of the season, has disappeared during conference play. Porter hasn't scored in double figures since January 24, and before that, the last time was November 20. The road back to being seen as a surefire lottery pick will be tough. Here's what NBA executives were telling Stadium's Jeff Goodman back in the middle of January: he's immature and undisciplined in every way, on and off the floor. He's wild. Yet another felt it wouldn't hurt his stock too much. All he's done has made people dig more and more. But I still think he winds up going somewhere from 5 to 15 in June. We wonder whether Porter still considers moving on from the Trojans to train and prepare for the draft on his own. Clearly, his relationship with the school that recruited him is fractured and his play is suffering as a result, as well as potential lingering effects from the quad injury. Perhaps that quad is the only thing keeping Porter at school. He wouldn't have access to world-class sports medicine if he were to go to a high school gym and work with a skills trainer. Yet Boston, or whichever team acquires this pick over the summer, pulling the trigger near the end of the lottery on a high-ceiling scoring guard is the lowest we see him falling. Next, 12. Minnesota Timberwolves. Use your arrows to browse